Hi there. So, today I kind of got inspired to make a video about my experiences with relatively not unknown, but kind of an obscure substance, dipropyltryptamine, or otherwise known as DPT, or the damn powerful tryptamine, the flesh of Christ. um, which is surprisingly accurate. Um, so it's a tryptamine compound, in the same family as DMT. Has very, different effects, though. Much longer duration. Still pretty short compared to other psychedelics. My experience lasted about, 3 to 4 hours, give or take. Some minor after effects. Um, anyway, it was very, very intense, and there was a lot going on that's just completely wiped away now, or maybe it's integrated into a part of me deep down, but it's still really tough to put my finger on everything that happened, throughout the entire experience. The main thing that I remember was when it kicked in, kind of got the typical tryptamine body high, similar to, like the, MDMA or the 2C family, somewhere in there. A lot more intense, though. Um, then, following that, there was this giant grid pattern that appeared everywhere. And within each one of these grids was a separate reality that manifested itself until it all kind of coalesced into this crescendo where my body became this dimension. It was this substrate that all reality sprang from, and I watched God using my body, or, well, I assumed it was God, whatever entity that I had contact with, used my body to break down and deconstruct reality and rebuild it. It actually kind of reminded me of the film Begotten, which is like this really odd avant-garde piece. Kind of a morbid take on the creation myth in Genesis, but anyway, that was extremely profound. It kind of died down after that. I would definitely say that that was the peak. And it left me with this sense, throughout this entire time that I was being shaped into the universe, I had contact with these various entities, and it wasn't as interactive as some of my other experiences with psychedelics have been, like salvia and LSD, where you've had genuine entity contact. It was more like I was these entities were present. They were a part of me, but they were just present, and I observed them more than I interacted with them. Save for this one that was, obviously on some higher plane than the others, and the one that was doing its thing, shaping my body into this new model of reality. Um, it left me with a lot to think about. There are so many interpretations one could derive from that. I think the most profound thing that it left me with, though, was just the nature of reality as a whole. The nature of, consciousness forming the universe around us, which is, I feel like when anybody talks about that, it has to be differentiated from these new agey interpretations of the whole thing. Um, basically, I view consciousness as something which is both internal and external. We experience consciousness, yet it composes us in our entirety. And this kind of helped to break down that whole barrier. Is states, this dualist way of thinking, states of being and non-being, which I still think is true on certain levels, but in these higher levels of reality, the differences really break down, and you're left with this feeling of complete uh, unity and omniscience with these other forces that are around. It's very, very interesting. Currently, I don't use psychedelics, but if I ever had the chance to do it again, I probably wouldn't turn it down. Uh, Very, very profound. So, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to share about that experience. It's something that, like I said, is more not talked about very often, which is surprising. Also, it's very, very interesting to note that it is completely legal, well, gray area legal, in all but 4 or 5 states, maybe. Which it's actually used as a religious sacrament by this group. I think they're based in New York. Some sort of esotericist, interpretation of Christianity, where DMT is the one of DPT, sorry, is a main sacrament of their religion, and they call it the flesh of Christ. Um, which is very, very interesting. You get into the whole ideas about this enlightenment and being able to break down those layers of reality and binary ways of thinking. So, if you ever get the opportunity to try it, I can't officially endorse that. I mean, this is just for education and harm reduction purposes. But I feel like as drug policy evolves, which slow but sure, I think it's only a matter of time. Um, I would love to see research conducted with this substance in the fields of psychiatry, neurology. It would be really interesting to see what sort of solutions we could derive from this. Um, hmm. Alright, that's about it. Thanks.